Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Oh my goodness. I've had technical challenges. In other words, I forgot to set my coffee pot off last night. So I've been waiting on the coffee to brew. And the coffee is brewed. So, yay. I have coffee. I just could not start conscious coffee without coffee. So, there you go. My apologies for being very, very tardy, but I'm tardy anyway. So, oh well. I'm over it. Hope you are. So today's topic, as we wake up this fine Monday morning, is all on walking with God. It's walking with God, but you know, as my conscious coffees tend to go, they are a blend between Christianity and Tantra and Buddhism, and Course in Miracles, Christ-centered, but definitely pulling from all realms. And today's stuff, that the little things that I'm going to pull from, the quotes, are actually out of A Course in Miracles, and it's in chapter 23. Anybody who has read Course in Miracles or is studying it or wants to, Course in Miracles is a fantastic book that teaches all on creation of miracles and how to really get in alignment with God's true calling for our lives. So this is in chapter 23, The War Against Yourself. And I was just flipping through books like I sometimes do in the morning and just looking for quotes and letting God bring things to me. And a lot of like what the Course in Miracles teaches is to really turn it over. Just turn everything over to God. And something that I do almost every single day. I can't say every single day because I skipped yesterday. Accidentally. But I write in my journal every single day, and one of my journal entries that I consistently make, I have probably about 15 things that I consistently write out, handwrite in my journal, and that is that I am always guided by God, and God speaks through me every single day. I don't know exactly how I write it because once I'm in that flow, it just kind of comes out. But that's the gist of it, that God is always working through me every single day. And in this particular chapter, and actually the whole book, one of the main things that A Course in Miracles talks about is to always open and let God move through you, let God work through you, to surrender to God's will, to his teachings, all this different stuff. And that's really, really difficult for us human beings to do because we love to control things. We absolutely adore controlling things. We believe that we have some sort of funny control on this life and on the big picture of things. And we do and we don't. Okay? We do and we don't. Our control comes through surrender, not through trying to take hold and force something to happen. So sometimes, you know, we try to get things to really move forward, to take form by doing certain actions, by trying to force others to do things the way we want them to do it versus how God wants it to happen, right? So surrender is just about walking with God. And here's just letting God lead, basically just walking with God. So this quote out of Course in Miracles that I'm going to read to you today, I think it sums it up, because we really, you know, we look at a lot of things as weakness. We look at a lot of things as weakness, and we most certainly look at our mistakes as weakness. We look at things that were, you know, like our sin is a weakness, and that we're almost under attack from different stuff. Wow, I think there's lightning going outside. I'm seeing lights flash outside. But I'm going to read this and then we'll carry on. Okay. Do you not see the opposite of frailty and weakness in sinlessness? Innocence is strength, and nothing else is strong. The sinless cannot fear, for sin of any kind is weakness. The show of strength attack would The show of, hold on, I skipped here. The show of strength attack would use to cover frailty conceals it not. For how can the unreal be hidden? No one is strong who has an enemy, and no one can attack unless he thinks he has. Belief in enemies is therefore the belief in weakness, and what is weak is not the will of God. Being opposed to it, it is God's enemy, and God is feared as an opposing will. So, as we move through this over the next few minutes, as quickly as I possibly can, what this is really talking about is a lot of the enemies inside ourselves. So I am a very big ego-focused person. I focus in on the egos. I refer to our ego as Satan. There is this war brewing inside ourselves. We're constantly trying to control everything. That's all states of ego. When we turn things over to God, when we walk with God, then, you know, it's like if we just stop battling all this negativity out there, turn it over, and then just become conscious of our internal world and how can we more align to God, right? So our thoughts and our feelings, it always comes back to thoughts and feelings, consciousness, no matter what we're doing. And if we just turn it over, release, then what happens is we're not weak because we've turned it over. So if we actually believe that there's all this negativity and crap out there that is fighting against us and trying to prevent us, and if we look at it and we give ourselves up to it, in other words, we stand as a victim and we say, oh, this happened and so did that and so did this and my government did this and, you know, this is what the economy is here and my boss, blah, blah, and my spouse, blah, blah, then all of these things that we're putting out towards it is actually us saying that God is weak. Okay? So, and good morning, Michael. Good morning, Addison, by the way. I did see you there first. But if we put ourselves into that victim state, then what we're truly saying is we're not only attacking ourselves in this moment, but we're also saying, hey, God's weak. God can't fix this. God can't, you know, like this is not okay, because what do? We don't want to surrender in times of war, in times of disbelief, in times of depression, in times of our perceived weakness and shit going on. We the last thing we want to do is surrender. We go, it's like terror just strikes us and we're so scared to death to just let it go, to just hand it over and have a little bit of faith. It's like the computer just goes like, yes, let's accentuate that comment for her. But have a little bit of faith. So if we have a little bit of faith, then what are we actually doing? We're actually saying, yes, God, yes, I believe that you are not weak, that you are strong, that you are all-knowing, that I can surrender to this process. I can, because every single obstacle that we perceive as an obstacle is only a detour taking us to our destination, what we really truly want. That's all it is. An obstacle is nothing more than a detour. So we lose our job, our relationship breaks up, our, you know, something comes up with our family, even with our health. All of these things are there, set in place with perfection to make it so that we can strengthen our faith in the divine, in God, in the Creator, in the universe, whatever you want to call that, whatever word fits there for you. So, really looking at that, it's like, where are you warring against yourself? That's what I want you to kind of walk away from this conscious coffee with. It's like, how are you warring against yourself? What is that war inside where you feel that tug of, I need to control, surrender scares the crap out of me, so I'm going to try to control, surrender's really scaring the crap out of me, I'm really going to try to control, and then finally, I mean, how far down do you have to get yourself into the situation? Because that's what's doing it. If we just surrendered, things would just flow so much easier. But we cause this restriction from our need to control things so much and not focusing in on the things that we actually should be focused in on, which is our thoughts and our feelings. Our thoughts and our feelings. That's in times of trouble, in times of pain and suffering and these things that we perceive as negative. If you just pause and look for the lesson in it, and then just relax into that and surrender and focus in on how can I keep my thoughts in the most positive state as I possibly can. Now here's the thing, and I've been through this, there's so many conscious coffees at this point back there, and I've covered this particular topic just all by itself, and that is that, just bringing yourself up that emotional chart, to bring yourself up what's positive for one may not be positive for another. Now, I've had some incredible couple days, couple weeks. I mean, like, I've been blowing and going. So my positive level is up here. Maybe your positive level is down here. Maybe you're just coming out of some sort of depression or something. So something more positive for you is actually just to get pissed off and angry about it. Or maybe, it's wherever you're at on that emotional scale, to move it up a notch with your thinking and your feeling. That's a more positive feeling. What feeling gives you relief? That's the best way to look at that, is to look for relief in your feelings, and that sets you more onto the path of faith and turning things over to God and just opening up to that. Ideally, the best feelings, and once you get into them, that you just want to hold on to and kind of really get that momentum moving with, is joy, is play, and happiness, gratitude, those things. If you can just be rolling in those, then everything is basically going to just keep coming to you. Because here's the thing about God and the universe. God wants us to be joyous. God wants us in joy, wants us in bliss. It is his pleasure to see our pleasure, and he wants our pleasure to give to him our pleasure. So it should be pleasurable to give God our pleasure. Does that make sense, or am I having a blonde moment? It's fine. Either way, I hope you get it. Maybe if you work through that a couple times, you'll get it. I got it. It really is, though, that the more joy and fun you can have in life, and I'm talking about from a statement of here, it's not always about going, doing, receiving physical, tangible things. It is truly an inside game, and all those outside things come from the inside game first. If you want to know where you're at, look to your outside world, because your outside world is going to reflect exactly what's going on your inside world. And you can argue it all damn day, it doesn't much matter. We all got our screw ups out there, where nobody's perfect. We're all learning, we're all growing. And here's the thing about this stuff right here, is it's always ebbing and flowing. It's just like the tide. We have months, weeks, days, years, sometimes, that everything is groovy and peachy and perfect and woo la la, and it's all great. And then something that we don't even feel because we're in this, and we just get out of presence just enough, starts to take off inside of us, and it's like this little negative seed starts to form in there. And once that little negative seed of doubt and fear, which are both ego-based, okay, so there's the enemy, ego-based, doubt and fear. Once that little seed starts to form, then it sprouts its nasty little sprouts, and the seed starts to grow up. And what do we have? All of a sudden we have this year of like just crap happening. That's when you lose your job and you end up in a divorce, and you find out that you have really, I don't know, diabetes or something. It's like all this stuff. It's like shit just starts pouring down on you, and you're just beaten down, and exhausted, and everything is like, oh my gosh, why was everything so great there and now it's not great here? Those are those little seeds. That's why it's an inside game. We got to pay attention consistently to the inside, because whatever's going on in here is going to manifest out here and give us that picture. So if we have any war going on the inside, A lot of times that's a war of worthiness, a war of doubt and fear, these old patterns and programs that come up, and we sometimes give more attention to them than what we realize. And when that happens, that's where all of a sudden our outside world is going to start throwing stuff at us to say, hey, hey, look out, you know, there's a wreck coming. There's a tree up ahead that you're going to hit if you're not careful. And here's the thing. This war inside and getting in alignment to God's will is not for us to hit the tree. God's will is for us to drive down this beautiful, beautiful road into the sunset happily ever after. We derail ourselves because of our human nature to try to control, to try to do these things. And if, you know, that's the beauty of free will, right? We're here in these bodies, in this existence, to experience, to learn, to grow, and to just understand more. It is a physical incarnation because there is so much that in a spiritual form, see, computer grace, in a spiritual form that you're never going to be able to experience fully. So realize that this physical body is a spiritual movement, process, evolution forward. But in that evolution forward and learning, we, not God is not making us hit the tree. We are almost like, hey, there's a tree, let's hit that, learn a lesson from that. And then, oh, that hurt, ouch. But what's my lesson? What's my lesson? What's my lesson? And that's what you have to take from every single obstacle. When you feel like the world is warring against you, realize the world's not warring against you. You're warring against yourself. And it is probably some form of control that you have going on the inside that is causing you to just hold on to the steering wheel a little bit too tight. You know, gosh, what is her name? Eons ago, not really eons ago, but it probably was like 10, 12 years ago. I think I want to say Carrie Underwood. Jesus, take the wheel. I don't know. I think it's Carrie Underwood. Like I said, it's a long time ago. I remember that song being really, really popular, and my oldest daughter playing it all the time. And the whole song there, I mean, like, seriously, go listen to Jesus Take the Wheel after this conscious coffee, because, okay, see, thank you, Addison. Yeah, Jesus Take the Wheel. And so that song is what? She's driving down the road, and shit happens, right? And she just realizes in this moment that she has to let go. She has to surrender, because if she keeps her hands on the steering wheel really tight and locked up, what is going to happen? It's going to actually get worse. Her only chance to survive it, to make it through it, is to surrender and let go of her need to control. So I think that song, and obviously since it came floating through, is perfect for exactly what I'm talking about here, is that we really have to let go of our own steering wheel sometimes. The universe, God, knows what all of our desires are. Our higher self knows every single desire that we have set out there. Everything that we have cast out that we really, really want is already out there and wanting to come to us. The only thing preventing it is our grip on the steering wheel, trying to make it a straight course to that, and ignoring the fact that there's all this, road construction and slippery roads and potholes and trees that can get in the way of that path, and not just allowing God to take us on the course to that desire that we really, really want. So, it's like, no matter what that is, just remember that the path is not straight. Your path's never going to be straight. Nobody's path is. And the more you try to really tap in and force yourself to, or force another, because we're really good at that too, we try to force those around us to go a direction that we think that they need to go. and try to make their path as straight and narrow as possible. But our learning path and surrendering to God is, if we surrender to God, we'll get there a hell of a lot easier, a lot quicker. We lengthen our path by trying to control it, but it's not going to be exactly that straight path. It is right there, but we might do, like the road to Hana to get to it if we're not careful. So let go of the need to control. Realize that the only war that is ever being fought is the war inside of you. Nothing else. Everything else is an illusion or a reflection of that internal world. So look inside, find that war, find where you are actually claiming that God is weak because you're not surrendering, you're not walking with God, and try to lean into those spots just a little bit more and soften up and have just a little bit of faith. So thank you, Addison, for posting that. I'm guessing that the YouTube video that Addison just posted on there is the Jesus Take the Wheel from Carrie Underwood. So thank you. Yeah, okay. I guess I'm good for this morning. I hope you're good for this morning. Let me see, I'm going to make some quick announcements while I am on here. Take the opportunities this Monday morning to run through this really quick. There is going to be some fantastic workshops coming up, and since I have Addison on here, Addison, can you post the Tantra 201 class that we have coming up in a couple weeks? And this is level 201 for this class for any local peeps to the DFW area or anybody who wants to pop in. Because I say that because we had a guy that bounces back and forth between Seattle and Dallas at our workshop over the weekend, and I've had people come from LA and from New York and from Florida for workshops. So this class is going to be a very cool VIP evening Tantra class, leveling it up a little bit. We did Tantra 101 in January, a reboot class. This is more about cleansing and just really opening up to that next level of Tantra and tapping into self. So a lot of the principles that I teach in Conscious Coffee, that I go through in different things, they have, like I said, they are Christ conscious principles. They are taught in the Bible, but here's the thing. There's other spiritual texts out there that teach Jesus's teachings in just a little bit different context. So a little bit different words, same teachings. A lot of my classes and Addison's classes run on exactly that. There's a balance between those two, and this one is definitely right up there. So we're going to be working through the divine masculine and feminine at a whole new level with Tantra 201, the VIP evening. There's going to be foods, there's going to be sensory stuff for you to explore, and we're going to really bring this into a deep spiritual connection to self, because like I said, it's an inside game, and that's what Tantra truly is an inside game, finding that alignment to self and weaving every aspect of self together so that you can weave every aspect of your world together. So that is coming up. She has put the link up there. Make sure to click on that if you are a local person. All non-local people, woohoo, I have some exciting stuff coming out. I know that Addison does too. I'm going to just make little bleeps for both of us here. Some of the stuff that I have coming out, both Addison and I, our workshop that we did this last week was all on oral intimacies. And within the next month or so, we are going to be able to offer that workshop that we did last Saturday in person as an online course. So I'm really excited about that. I was working on that a little bit yesterday. Got everything put together, just waiting on the video of the actual live training to come in, and you're going to see that pop in. So I'm very excited to finally be able to bring one of our workshops to actual video training and have a whole bunch of course content to add to that as well. But here's the really cool thing, the one thing that I'm very excited about, and that is that in the next 7 to 10 days, maybe sooner if I can find the freedom to breathe into this a little bit and get this project finished up, is that I have Feel Good Now coming out. So Feel Good Now is all these principles that I've been teaching on conscious coffees and in different trainings and everything, and it's all condensed down into an online course. I'm really, really excited with where it's going. So there's a whole bunch of like PDF downloads, video training, and it is really going to be able to take you from where you're at and into that desired life. So painting that picture, and how do you get that picture to manifest into your life? You know, you want the love, you want the job, you want the money, you want the house, you want the travel, you want the health, whatever success is, whatever desires you might have. It really is. It's an inside game, as I keep saying, and that is all about feeling good, because here's the reality to that. Things show up like that when we're having fun. When we're having fun, when we are in joy, when we are in expectation, when we are in our bliss, when we are just like pumped up and excited, laughing and joyous and happy, and when we're right there in that awesome, fun little bubble, guess what? All those desires, they are just coming to us because we are magnetic in that moment. And in that moment, that is just when things just go poof, poof, poof. And here's the thing, that moment doesn't have to end. It does not have to end. You can be conscious of keeping that moment very much alive. And when you feel like your moment, that magnetism to all your desires is kind of not 100% there, with these skills that I'm going to be teaching in Feel Good Now, you're going to be able to come back quickly to getting back into that magnetic state so that you can start really drawing that stuff into you. Now, I am really, really excited about this course coming out. I have a couple manifestation courses coming out, but this is going to be the first one, because I really do feel that, feeling good is the number one key to really getting the things that we desire to actually manifest in our life. And it is a principle that is taught all over the place. I mean, actually, a lot of the principles that I'm going to be teaching in that particular class come right out of Proverbs. So there you go. Proverbs is definitely a base point, and of course, Course in Miracles is my other one for Feel Good Now, along with a whole bunch of fantastic teachers through the last 25 years. So there you go. Okay, that's my announcements. I normally don't do announcements on Conscious Coffee, but I just had to take the opportunity to do that because I'm off to go get my kid their driver's permit now. So I love you guys, and I will catch you tomorrow at 6 a.m. ish for another Conscious Coffee. Bye.